Hello friends, today is the 9th day of Flutter and today we are going to see button widget. Now basically button widget provides user to trigger an event which can be like taking actions, making choices, searching things and many more. We can place our button widget anywhere in our UI like dialogues, forms, cards, etc. Now button widget basically provides several types of button that can have different types of shapes, styles and features. Now normally the features that are provided by buttons are first one is button basically apply themes which can be shapes, color, animation and behavior. Now the second one is button is also having theme icons and text inside it. Button can also have different style widgets for different characteristics. Now we are having different types of button that are provided by Flutter that are flat button, raised button, floating button, drop down button, icon button, inkwell button, pop-up menu button and outline button. So we will see some of the buttons which are basically or we can say commonly used by the users. So let's jump to the coding part. So here is the app which we have created before. So instead of this container, now we are going to use different types of button. So just hit Ctrl and S, then this container will be removed. Now we will first start with the flat button. Now this flat button is basically, or we can say it is a text label button that is not providing any decoration, or we can say it is not displaying any type of elevation. So it is a simple widget, button widget. Now the required parameters for this flat button is the child property and onPress property. Now this child can be the text and the onPress will be null by default. Instead of this empty parenthesis, we can also specify this null. So I am going to specify empty parenthesis. Now we can give, now just hit Ctrl and S to look how this button is. So this by default this flat button is taking the color of its background, which is the gray color, and the by default color of the text is black. So we can change this color by using the background color of the button by using this color property, and can have this, and we can change the text color by using this text color property and can specify the color whichever we want. Now we can give some styling to our text by using the style property. So just use this style property. Now we can have, we can change the size of our text as well as we can change the styling and weight of our button. Now the second button is the raised button. Raised button is normally having rectangular shape and it is providing various decoration. It is almost similar to flat button, but it has different properties, like it provides elevation, it increases the elevation when the button is pressed. It also adds some dimension to the UI along z-axis. Now raised button is also having several properties like text color. It provides we can change the shape of our button it is providing padding, button color, the color of a button when display, animation type, elevation, this much of properties. Now raise button basically have two callback functions, that is on press and the second one is on long press. So on press is triggered when the button is pressed, while the on long press is triggered when the button is long press. So we will create a raised button by using the function raised button. Now we can specify the child as text update, and before that let me show that on this on clicking on this flat button you will not having any splash color, while this property is provided by this raised button. So here you can see on clicking this flat button only somewhat animation is uh, displaying. Now we will uh, create this on pressed event. Now just hit Ctrl and S. Now this is the button which is created by using this raised button function. So basically this raised button is having white as a background color, and this text widget is by default having black color. Now similarly we can change the color of the color of the background of our raised button by using the color property. We can specify the background color like this, and we can also change the text color by using the text color property. Now this is all about the raised button. Now in this raised button we can also add some splash color, like here we can see there is on clicking this update raised button we are having some elevation. Now we can change the color of this splash button by using this splash color property. Now just define the color which you can see. Now just hit Ctrl and S. Now on clicking on this raised button you can have one splash color which is green. Now the third button is floating button. Floating action button. We can have one floating action button. Now in this floating action button it is having one circular shape, and it provides two type of floating action button. The first one is normal floating action button, which creates a simple circular floating button with a child widget inside it, and it provides a child parameter to display a widget. While the other one is floating action button dot extended function, which creates a wide floating button along with an icon and a label inside it, which is having a child. Instead of having a child, it uses label and icon parameter. So we can have this floating action button, and we can specify child as text widget, and we can give some text to this floating button, or we can give some icon to this floating button. So I'm giving text to this floating button. I'll just hit Ctrl and S. Now you can see this floating button is having one text which is having string update. Now we can also have icons instead of this text. The icon widget is normally used to give icons. We will see the other property of this icon widget in the later part of this event. So we will use this save icon. Now you can see the icon is displayed in the center of our floating button. Now by default this floating button is having blue color as a background and the icon is having white color. Now we can change the foreground color by using this foreground color property. This will change the color of our icon, and similarly if we want to change the color of the button we can use the background property. So before that let me use some color, and for background color we can provide this background color property. Now we will hit Ctrl and S. Now you can see the background color is changed to yellow and the icon color that we have used foreground color property has been changed to the black color. Now similarly we are having floating action button dot extended. So in this we can use this label and icon parameter instead of the child. So inside this label I will use the text widget and will write save, and for icon I will provide the icon of save. Now just hit Ctrl and S. Now you can see a white button is provided by this floating action button dot extended having one label as a text and icon. Now we can change the background color as well as the foreground color of this floating action button dot extended, similarly which we have done using this foreground and background color property inside the floating action button. Now these are the commonly used buttons which we normally use in our app. The other buttons are drop down button, inkwell button, pop up menu button, icon button. This will be used rarely in our app. So for that you can refer the blog that will be provided by us. So this was all about the button widget.